It's the last thing anyone would want to see if they were out camping in the wild. It doesn't matter whether you're in a large group. It doesn't matter whether you're armed or how much experience you have. Running into a mother bear with cubs is probably the worst day you're going to have, because everyone knows the mother bear is going to do whatever she feels is necessary to protect her cubs, whether it makes any sense or not. And nobody wants to encounter this. Now, I'm sure the vast majority of my audience agrees with this, but they're wondering, what does this have to do with anything going on in the real world? Well, stay tuned. This is all going to make sense. But first, as always, thank you to everyone who continues to show up here on a daily basis. It is Monday, 12 December 2022. Currently, it is 17:45 hours. That is 5:45 p.m. in the afternoon for those of you in the civilian world. Currently, it is 63.5 degrees Fahrenheit here on the northeast coast of Florida. We had a high today of 73, and a low tonight will be about 56. No rain to speak of. Barometer 30.06 inches of mercury. Everyone who has joined us here, I very much appreciate. We have had an incredible year. Also over at Patreon, we started in earnest about this time last year, really getting deep into the psychological operations aspect of this channel. It's only $1 per month. It's the lowest allowable level. If it could be a dime a month, I would charge a dime a month. It's just about creating the paywall. That's it. So that we don't get a lot of trolls over there, so that we can focus on what's important. It's even less than $1 if you sign up for an entire year. Fully refundable first 90 days, as always. Partnering with Vimeo, we can do things and show things that anywhere else would be censored. And we're going to talk about that a little bit today, too, because it's relevant. Now, everyone has heard the stories across 100 different channels, and this one included, about what's coming in 2023. Huge slowdown, millions of jobs being gotten rid of, people being laid off. What can we do? Well, people have talked about this for some time. They've talked about stockpiling and preparing and how to save and how to scrimp and how to be more efficient in your life. But it comes down to this. You don't have to run faster than the bear to get away. You just have to run faster than the guy next to you. Meaning, to use another analogy, don't be the lowest hanging fruit on the tree. Now, what does that mean? Well, if you've got 10 guys and there's only one guy that's slower than you, you're going to be all right. Now, within your group of guys, that makes you the D- guy as far as speed goes. But that's all you have to be. And in essence, when preparation comes, the time for the prepping that you've done to be put to the test, all you have to be is not the worst guy on the block. I'm sure a lot of you have seen these bumper stickers and kind of funny memes. You know, be nice to those who are a little bit larger than you because one day they might save your life. I thought that was a funny bumper sticker. Man survives a Kodiak bear attack with just a .22. The friend he shot in the knee to get away was not as lucky. And you see, that's the key right there. That's the key. The friend he shot in the knee was not as lucky. This is what I think is going to be the bigger problem. You see, you might not have been the fastest guy in the group, the slowest guy, guy in the group. But all of a sudden, someone might sabotage you behind your back. Now, both Fox and CNN are reporting something identical and using the same thought process to explain it away. U.S. worker productivity has tanked this year. What gives? Experts say several factors are at play, and burnout is definitely one of them. U.S. labor productivity plunged first quarter in the largest decline since 1947, then dropped by the highest annual amount on record in the second, according to the Bureau of Labor. The third quarter data indicates year-over-year output saw 3 consecutive declines for the first time since 1982. So what's going on? Why are people going to work? And this is CNN. U.S. worker productivity fell at the fastest rate in 75 years. Why are they talking about this? Well, people have done the risk-reward analysis. This is something that got missed with the whole 2022 sniffles. the government stepping in and controlling everything, people have realized, oh my gosh, I don't work for who I actually work for. I work for the government. The name of the business might be different, but who's really in charge? Washington, D.C. is in charge. Everybody in North America who is now drawing a wage, an annual salary, I'm not talking about independent contractors. Not talking about independent contractors. I'm talking about people who are drawing a wage or drawing a salary, have realized that their ultimate employer is the government. Now think about that for just a minute. 2020, the whole 2020 sniffles nonsense of DC stepping in and saying this business can be open and this business can't. At this business, you have to wear this over your face at this time and in this way, and these other group of people over here, you have to have this jammed into your body, this chemical, this whatever it is. And you group of people over there, you're essential workers. You can't not go to work even if you don't want to. Everybody learned in 2020 the hard way that everybody drawing a salary, everybody drawing any kind of a wage, doesn't work for who they work for. They only work for Washington, D.C. because they ultimately tell them what to do. This is something that libertarians had been screaming about for a long time when people talk about capitalism or people talk about socialism. You can't control the fill in any blank here. The shipping, storing, buying, selling, trading, taxing of anything. Here they're using oil. But you can't control all of this stuff, pull all the levers and treat businesses like marionettes, and then say you don't control the economy, you don't control the outcome. So all the employees in literally drawing a salary or pulling a wage in North America have now learned that their job is graded on a bell curve, pardon me. Who remembers this from years ago? You're in a class, whoever does the best, no matter how bad it was, they get an A. Whoever does the worst, no matter how good it might be, gets an F. And then they just draw the curve and they hand out grades according to who did the best and according to who does the worst. So that's what's happening right now. Everybody has realized, oh my God, to get my check, I need to probably hover somewhere around D plus to C minus work. And then if anybody bitches, I can kind of bump it up to maybe C plus, B minus work. But then I'm going to let it drift back down. And that's all I'm ever going to do. Because I don't want to mess up the bell curve. I literally don't want to be the one. All I have to be is not the one caught by the bear. And everybody worry about all this censorship nonsense, whether it was on Twitter or Instagram or Facebook. All these people were doing is what they were doing at the behest of the government. Even they work for the government. Even they work for DC. Now, when things get bad and things get a lot worse, there's going to be a lot of folks lose their jobs. And there's going to be a lot of mama bears out there, so to speak, that are going to have to reassess their whole risk reward, what they're willing to do to protect their kids, protect their livelihoods, whatever. And they're going to make decisions a lot more like a desperate animal. That's going to be the key. And Bible even talks about this. I will fall upon them like a bear robbed of her cubs. Hosea 13:8. Now, I know this seems like a weird left turn, but I've started rewatching this. It's actually free on the Roku channel. Guys, if you want a wonderful look into the future, watch especially the first few episodes of season 1 of Colony. It's a series, it's a sci-fi series. It's about these aliens that come, they drop down a wall, and they've separated people in the preferred zone from everybody else, all the unwashed masses. And what it really shows is people who are trying to do the best they can to survive to do good things who end up doing horrifically horrible things in the name of doing something better and good, where whatever decision they make to do or not do has some moral tinge to it. Who remembers this story? I've talked about it so many times, I don't think I have to remind anyone. The Amanda Rigetti character, Maddie Kenner, she has a son. She lives down in the wards. Let's see if I can find the... Okay, so here's the map these aliens have created. This green zone, these are all the good, cooperating, collaborating people. Down in the wards, these are all the unwashed types that are somewhat useless. Haven't been chosen. So they're tolerated because they're needed to provide goods and services for these folks up here. Now, her kid needing insulin makes him weak. So they're trying to cull the herd, so to speak. So she's trying to desperately do anything she can to get insulin for her kid, meaning steal or rob or anything else. But in the first season, and I've never talked about this, because I totally forgot about it. In the first season, she, because she's a single mom, takes this job as basically one of the people that walks around at a high society function and has the little tray of champagne. I don't know if you would necessarily call that a waitress or a host or whatever you would call hostess or whatever. Low paying job. You dress up real nice and you walk around and you hand people champagne. Well, she runs into a guy that she knew from school, and they were at one time before the occupation kind of on the same level. Well, he's working in a real powerful position in the utilities, and they have a conversation, and they end up going home together, and she's thinking that, wow, this is going to be my key into the green zone so I can take care of my kid. Next morning she wakes up, and he's packing her a box full of all sorts of things that he knows she can't get living down in the wards. And he's like, look, if you want to keep it on the down low, that's fine, but we can't be open. I can't openly be seen as being around. And so she learns the lesson the hard way, which leads her down the next road that we've talked about, where she finds a guy, but she makes it very clear, this is the case. You either openly, accept us so that you can take care of my kid, or, nothing's going to happen. But the whole point that what I'm talking about is that when this comes, when things get really, 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 really bad next year, there's going to be people wondering, what should I do? All you need to do is not be the low-hanging fruit. Whatever group you're in, don't be the least prepared. If you're in a group of people that haven't prepped at all, even the least little amount of prepping is going to give you an advantage. But if you're around a bunch of people who are really decked out and you've done, the best that you can, don't be last place. Figure out some way to not be. Because that's going to be the real key. There are going to be a lot of folks that lose their job because somebody's going to come take their job who will work for less and who won't complain and who will be more productive. Think about that. Think about people perhaps coming to this country from somewhere else, and this is the real key here. People coming to this country from somewhere else who have been used to living on a lot less than what Americans are used to, willing to step in, take training, do jobs for a much lower wage, and be thankful for those jobs, and keep their mouth shut. Now do you see what's happening? Everybody's looking at the border. Now do you see what's happening? Why would you? Why would you, if you were a business owner and you had a whole bunch of zombies that have signed up just because they want to check, and they're giving you D, D+, C- effort, and you have to pay them X, Y, Z, and their productivity is falling and falling and falling and falling, and they're just doing whatever they can to get by. And here comes this other group of people. They might not be as skilled, but you can train them. And they're willing to work for 25% less, 30% less. And they don't complain. And they're willing to, give B plus, maybe even A minus effort. What are you going to do? What would make the most financial sense for you to do if you were a business owner? See, right now we have in this country a whole bunch. Where's the image? Here it is. Everybody's a government employee. Now, I'm not talking about independent contractors. I'll say this again. Independent contractors aren't guaranteed a wage. They aren't guaranteed a salary. You've got to go out there and hustle. You got to make your own paycheck. You got to do, and it's going to be up to you. A lot of that kind of stuff is underground economy kind of stuff. Why do you think the government is coming out now with all of these thousands and thousands of IRS agents and saying any transaction on PayPal or Venmo or whatever that's over $600 or you have to report as low as $600? Because they already know they employ everybody else. If you're taking a salary or you're taking any kind of an hourly rate, I don't care who is actually your employer, the government is your employer. Just by that simple fact and simple fact alone. I mean, I guess unless you're working for an independent contractor and they're paying you a cash daily hourly rate, that would be the only exception. But even then, that depends on which types of independent contractors you're talking about. Some can have a little bit more leeway. But that underground economy thing, don't think they're going to ignore it for very much longer. Because the tax revenue, when business goes down and the productivity goes down and the recession hits and hits hard, they're not going to want to go without their money. What do you think they're going to do? And when people get cornered, people make decisions very differently. And it's going to surprise a lot of people. There's going to be a lot more people get pink slips. And it's not that job is going to go away. It's just going to go to somebody who will work cheaper, who will work longer hours, who will put in more effort and be, less whiny about it. Now, do all those people at the border make sense? Because comparatively speaking, all they're trying to be is not the one eaten by the bear. That's all you have to be, is not the one eaten by the bear. So, anyway. But guys, I tell you what. Colony is absolutely fantastic. It really is. Ryan Condal and Carlton Cuse back in 2016. Either these guys knew something or they were savants. The way they put this together, they could have, it's like literally they had lived 2020, 2021, 2022 to see all of the people in the show. And if you watch it, I've watched it 3 times now, and I still get stuff out of it. I still am like, wow, I totally forgot about that scene. I totally forgot about this dynamic going on between these two characters. It is a bunch of people who want to do the right thing, and they want to do the good thing, and they want to do the moral thing and take care of their families, but to do so requires them to do things that are wildly, sometimes incredibly horrible and wrong and immoral. It's a tough thing. It is a tough thing to sit and have a conversation. You could literally be watching the show and have your survival group there and hit pause and go, okay, what would we do in that situation? Would we judge somebody? Would we kick this person out of our group? What would we do if we were confronted with this issue? So anyway, incredibly well done series. I know it's Hollywood, but man, like I said, free on the Roku channel. Definitely check it out. Amanda Rigetti is probably the unsung heroine of it all. She's made out to be a more evil character, but I wish I could remember the name of the actors and actresses off the top of my head, but I had completely forgotten about this real quick little dynamic where she ran into this old friend from school. So anyway, but 20 minutes, I will leave it there. So make no mistake, when things get tough, the mama bear thing is going to come out. And 1 Peter 5 and 8, be sober, be vigilant, because your adversary, the devil, walks about like a roaring lion, seeking whom he may devour. I think that actually applies very well too. But thank you once again, everyone. God bless. Like, share, subscribe. Would love to see you over at Patreon. There's really good stuff over there. Take care, and we'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.